So when we're mixing, there is actually a natural order of things that we need to do. And I would say the first step is to isolate. Now this means to make sure that we only hear the instrument that is supposed to be recorded on the track and nothing else, or at least it should be the loudest thing that we can hear. Next up is to control the dynamics, which is basically the loudness and softness within each track or performance. It really doesn't work in a mix if one track from beginning to end is louder and softer in just random places, and then the next track did the same thing but in different places. It would be a complete mess. So the dynamic, more often than not, is something that we do to every single track when we process a mix. After that, the next thing to do is EQ each track, but looking at EQ as a corrective process rather than just an artistic process, i.e. not just trying to make a really nice sound, but using the EQ to stop any problems from happening that I mentioned earlier about harmonic cancellation and things like that. Luckily, most instruments naturally sit in their own frequency area, but there are points where an instrument crosses over into another frequency range, and that's what needs looking at. So here you can see that the character of a kick drum or bass drum goes from around 30 Hz, naturally peaks up a bit at around 60 Hz, and slowly starts falling off all the way up to 500, 600 Hz, and there's a little bit at the top end there as well. Because yes, there are all these frequencies in just one kick drum beat, and we have the power to cut or boost any of them, so long as the microphone has picked up those frequencies. And so as you see on the chart, the bass guitar overlaps with the kick and covers most of the area of the kick, and then goes on to go up to where the guitar comes in its frequency range. So obviously, depending what notes are being played in this particular song that you're mixing, the guitar and bass will share certain frequencies, and the kick drum and the snare and everything else. So just to recap, with each track and every element, we're going to isolate, control dynamic, and EQ in a corrective way. So now this is getting us into the ballpark, as they say, because when we put these tracks together in the mix, we will need to keep going back and tweaking and adjusting things as we go, because maybe when we put the new track in, we can hear that they're fighting for the same frequency in some places and blending, but not in a good way. So we need to go back and adjust for sure. That is really the essence of mixing. You are always refining things based on little changes in the arrangement and changes that you make. You change one thing, you have to go back and change something else. So after we've done this, we would then balance all the tracks to each other in a logical way. We will set up the grouping of tracks so they can be controlled as a group. Then I will show you how to use what I call the main effects. Finally, we will put the vocal in and process it and do its effects and special effects. Then we balance the final master, and that's it. So there's an overview of the process of mixing a track that we're going to go through in this course, and obviously I'm going to go into quite a lot of detail. I hope you enjoy it. The next topics focus on some terminology which will help you communicate with others and also understand me for the rest of this course. I also touch on a little more sound theory that you're going to need to know, but don't worry, it's not too hard. Enjoy the rest of the lessons and start cooking like a top chef. I'm definitely going to go and eat something now.